This is Speaking and Listening, Level 1, Task 1. My name is Chloe Letcher. Can you please introduce yourself?
Hello, my name is Dante Finn.
Hello, my name's Ollie Griffiths.
And my name is Charlie Sweeting.
Okay, Dante, when you're ready, over to you for your presentation.
This is my presentation about World War II. Next slide. When did World War II start? The Second World War started on the 1st of September 1939 when Nazi Germany invaded Poland. The build-up events to the Second World War were when Adolf Hitler came to power in January 1933 and he became the dictator of Nazi Germany. And another build-up event was when Japan invaded China in July 1937. And yet another event which happened before the war was when Hitler formed an alliance with Italy in May 1939. And this was known as the Pact of Steel. And the last build-up event to the war was when Hitler signed a pact with Joseph Stalin in August 1939, which was named the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact. Next slide. Why did World War II start? The Second World War started because of the discrimination of minority groups and politics. The minority groups that were discriminated against were Jewish people, gay people, disabled people, communists who were political rivals of the Nazis, and also social democrats who were also political rivals of the Nazis. And these set of people were put in concentration camps where they were forced to do hard labour under extreme conditions, and they were later put in gas chambers where they were executed with poisonous gas called Cyclone B. Next slide. Which nations fought in World War II? So the Allied nations which fought in the war were the United Kingdom, the United States, the Soviet Union, France, and then we have the Axis nations. Now the Axis nations were Nazi Germany, Italy and Japan. You see, the Axis nations were the enemies of the Allies. And in my opinion, the Allies had the best alliance because they had a brilliant partnership with each other, and they won the war because of their courageous militaries. The Allies also had more organised militaries than the Axis because they had better leaders and better decision making than the Axis did. Next slide. Who were the leaders of World War II? So we have Winston Churchill, who was the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. And then we have Franklin D. Roosevelt, who was the President of the United States. He is the man with the grey hair, and Winston Churchill is the man at the bottom. And then we have Joseph Stalin, who is this guy here with the mustache. He was the dictator of the Soviet Union. And then we have the tyrant himself, Adolf Hitler, who was of course the dictator of Nazi Germany. And in my opinion, I believe Winston Churchill was the most successful leader during World War II because he inspired the British people to fight incredibly hard against the Germans. And Churchill also led the UK to victory. And he performed motivational speeches to motivate the country. Next slide, please. which battles happened in World War II. So these are the two major battles which happened during the war. So we have D-Day, which happened on the 6th of June 1944, and then we have the Battle of Stalingrad, which went on from the 17th of July 1942 to the 2nd of February 1943. Now, D-Day was a very important battle because this was the turning point of World War II. Furthermore, it was extremely gruesome. The Allied forces' death toll was 4,414, and the Germans' death toll was 9,000. There were also 133,000 Allied forces who fought on D-Day, and 50,000 German soldiers fought. And then we have the Battle of Stalingrad. Now this was also a very major battle because this was a massive setback for the Nazis. During the battle, more than 1 million Soviet and Axis forces fought. The Axis death toll of the battle was around 800,000, and the Soviets' death toll was around 1,100,000. Next slide. When did World War II end? So the Second World War ended in Europe on the 8th of May 1945 after Adolf Hitler committed suicide, and he did this by putting a cyanide pill down his throat and then shooting himself in the head with a pistol. Now he did this because he knew he was losing the war, and he also knew his death was near, so he took the easy way out. And then we have the Pacific. Now it ended on the 2nd of September 1945 when America dropped 2 atomic bombs on 2 Japanese cities in Japan called Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Now the first bomb was dropped on the 6th of August 1945, and the second bomb was dropped on the 9th of August 1945. And after the bombs were dropped, Japan surrendered and the war in the Pacific ended, and the entire World War II also came to an end. Next slide, please. How many people died during World War II? An estimated 75 million people lost their lives during the Second World War. In my opinion, that the loss of life caused by World War II is really upsetting to me, as this war caused a humongous amount of deaths. The war also ruined the lives of dozens of people across the world. However, World War II showed the bravery of the Allied soldiers who gave their lives fighting against racism and tyranny. Next slide, please. Thank you for listening. Do you have any questions?
Well done, Dante. Charlie, do you want to ask Dante a question?
Sure. How did you feel about Hitler wanting to kill and experiment on Jews and military groups?
Right. So I think this was absolutely disgusting. As people, including Jewish people and minority groups, they all deserve to be treated equally, and you know this is not humane. People have rights, and everybody needs human rights because we all deserve to be equal amongst each other.
Well done. Ollie, have you got a question for Dante?
When did you become interested in World War II?
I became interested in World War II when I was in primary school in year 3, and we were being taught about the Second World War and Adolf Hitler as well, and I found this very interesting because this was very different to anything that I've been taught before at that point, and I really enjoyed all the facts that I was taught
Well done.
about the war.
Charlie, have you got another question?
Yeah, but do you think that World War II could have been avoided?
Yeah, I absolutely think so. Yeah, because I heard that Adolf Hitler fought during the First World War, and he was spared by a British soldier during the war, and if if this British soldier didn't spare Adolf Hitler, well, the Second World War could have been prevented, and I think that the Nazis would never exist, and the world would have been more peaceful
Good.
back then.
Good, well done. Ollie, have you got one more question for Dante?
Are there any other battles that you're interested?
Yeah, there are many other battles that I'm interested, such as the Battle of Hastings from 1066, which was where the Normans fought the Saxons, like, because they went all the way from down south to up north to fight the Normans, and the king of Britain, he was shot through the eye with an arrow.
Well done, Dante. That was fantastic. Well done, everyone.